Shouts out to ArtBae. Shouts out to ArtBae. The other girls don't understand the things I do. They don't understand the dreams I pursue.
My name is Cassandra Davilmar, and I am the owner of La Cool Cafe, located in Crown Heights. I was born in Brooklyn, New York at Brookdale Hospital, and I don't know, wait, I should have denigrate Brookdale Hospital, so I'll leave that out. But I was raised in Miami, Florida, moved down to Miami when I was about 3 years old, lived there for the majority of my life. Went to Greater Miami Adventist Academy, then I went to University of Miami, and pretty much in 2010, I moved back to New York City, and I've been here for about 9 years now. I would say when I was a bit younger, let's say around like 13, I started to be a bit more conscious of what was going on around me. And I felt like, I don't know, at an early age, I was thinking about power dynamics. And when it came for me to figure out what I wanted to do in my life, I felt as though a lot of the people who had power were lawyers or businessmen. So I felt like, I wanted to be an advocate for my community. And at that time, I considered my community Black folks and the Haitian community. And I felt like a way that we weren't particularly represented was in business or in law. So I figured, why not me? I should be the person that delves into those fields. When I was in undergrad, I majored in finance and accounting with a minor in Africana studies, and ended up interning at Fama Haitiana Miami, which is Haitian Women of Miami. It's a nonprofit organization. And I think that was probably my first interaction with entrepreneurship, because I had to develop a curriculum for Haitian women who wanted to start their own micro enterprises. So essentially they were going to have a huge marketplace, and each woman could be like a vendor there. And essentially we were creating courses for these Haitian women to learn how to, properly manage their business. And I helped create the curriculum for it. So that's probably when I started thinking about entrepreneurship. The financial crisis happened, and I ended up trying to figure out what my next step would be, if I would go into the workforce or if I would go to law school. Luckily, I got into a really great law school, NYU, and so then I went that route. While I was in law school, I felt as though I wanted to do something more creative, and entrepreneurship felt to be that route. So I was always talking about I think I want to be an entrepreneur. I think I want to be an entrepreneur. But I did, after graduating, go directly into the legal profession, and I worked as an associate at Cleary Gottlieb for 2 years. Around that time, I got the opportunity to work as an investment banker. And while working as an investment banker, I realized it was a really great opportunity for me to get more business experience, know how different businesses work, be in the room with people who make a lot of strategic decisions, such as CEOs and whatnot. So I got to do that for 2 years. I felt like I had my toolbox pretty full by that time, and my bank account was looking all right. So I decided to go into entrepreneurship. I guess before then, I did purchase a home and I became a landlord. So to some level, that's a level of entrepreneurship, because you have your own, small enterprise. And, that kind of led me to wanting to open a cafe in my neighborhood, because I wanted to help build community in the neighborhood. I felt like this part of Crown Heights, had a lot of working class people who were kind of on the grind all the time, but it wasn't very when I walk down the block, everybody's like, hey, how are you? How's your day? There wasn't really that time to just chill in the neighborhood. Everybody just seemed to be on the grind compared to other neighborhoods that I lived in New York. So I thought a cafe would be a great way to help build community. Thought it would be a great way to add something positive to the neighborhood. So that's pretty much sums up my entrepreneurship journey to this point.
Peace.
Well, since I opened Laku, I've learned a lot of things. Probably, where do I start? It's probably not in chronological order, but some of the things that I've learned is like, pick your partners wisely. Find somebody that's complementary to you, that can add something that you can't add to the business. Be sure to document everything and stay really precise about what you're doing and follow all the rules, because it can be a little bit hard if you don't do that. And I know for entrepreneurship, especially if it's your first time, it's kind of hard because you're just like put into this whirlwind and you're just trying to get stuff done. But it's really important to like do things the right way. So that's something that I've learned. Another thing is, I read that a lot of black businesses, a lot of businesses in general don't do well the first years because of access to capital. They don't necessarily have enough. Another thing that I learned is black businesses in particular, I think they don't tend to have too many partners. Like a lot of people are like solo entrepreneurs and things like that. And what I'm learning now is that, it's good to kind of have like a community of people who are here to help the business grow, and to think of, I guess, like the structure of your business more pretty much I'm in the position now where I kind of want to take on more partners. I want to kind of have more people that help grow the business, because there's only so much that one person could do. So as much as you're like, oh, this is my idea, I want to I want to grow it myself, I want to do everything myself, I'm hesitant to bring other people in. It's like a catch-22. Like, you got to bring people in for the business to grow. You don't always want to take out a whole bunch of debt. So, equity is just definitely a good thing to play with. And you're kind of, if you guys are successful, you're spreading the love around, and it's a lot more of a community-oriented enterprise than like this solo, thing that's all for you or whatnot. Yeah. Those are some lessons I've learned. Also, listen to your customers. As much as you have like your idea and you want to implement that idea, when people say they want something, give them what they want. Don't feel like you're, this is only about you, because ultimately you're catering to other people. So you kind of have to compromise your vision a little bit. Also, but on the flip side, a lot of people came to me and they're like, oh, you have to do this because certain demographic of people only want this. And that's not always true. For instance, like sharing your culture can be appealing to people who aren't necessarily a part of that culture. And you shouldn't feel like you got to compromise that because you won't get people in the door. That can be the draw. So kind of staying true to yourself, but at the same time, being willing to listen to feedback is important. My advice to young entrepreneurs would just be to plan properly, but don't be afraid to take the plunge and implement your idea. You only live once. If something's in your heart, try it out. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. Like, you can start over, you can do something different, you can learn from those lessons. Most entrepreneurs, have stories of how they kind of messed up, but that doesn't mean that they weren't ultimately a success, whether it be in their original idea or their next idea. So I think the hardest part is just starting, and once you start, just keep going down the path. That would probably be my idea. My advice.
Shouts out to ArtBae. Shouts out to ArtBae. The other girls don't understand the things I do. They don't understand the dreams I pursue.